So we are looking at Surds exam practice questions. The first question we have: rationalize the denominator of the following expressions. So the first one we've been given is 1 divided by the square root of x plus the square root of y, and then plus a 1. We want to rationalize the denominator. When you have got three terms in the denominator which you can't add nor subtract, you can't rationalize directly. So make sure you get one root and one constant, then you can rationalize. So I'm going to get root of y and 1. Okay, those two. I'm going to get those two. So equate them to anything that you want. So I'm going to say let root of x, sorry, not root of x, but root of y plus 1 be equal to b. You can equate to anything that you want. Meaning that this expression, I'll now write it as 1 divided by square root of x plus b. Now from here, I'm going to look for the conjugate. Yes, Esther. Okay, then it will be okay. You can get any two roots. As long as you leave one root there. Okay? Alright, so now you can conjugate multiply on top by root x minus b, also down by root x minus b. If you multiply 1 by root x minus b, you simply get root x minus b. Now down, every time you multiply a number by its conjugate, get the first number, that is square root of x, right? Square it. Please always put a minus. It doesn't matter whether it is this one which is negative or positive or this one is negative or positive. Always put a minus on the middle. Every time you multiply a number by its conjugate, that's a difference of two squares. You always subtract. And then get the second term, that is b, also square it. So this is the same as square root of x minus b. Square root of x squared is x. Okay? Because what you have is square root of x multiplied by square root of x. And when you're multiplying, you multiply those terms which are inside. So that will be square root of x squared. And you know that a square and a root cancels. So you just get remain with x. So I'm going to remain with x minus b squared. Are we okay so far? Do we have anyone who is behind so far? Alright, so from here now, I am going to go and substitute where there is b. Okay, now put back what is b. So I'm now going to say square root of x. Please, there is a minus here. Don't confuse things. I'm going to put this minus. And then what was b representing? It was representing square root of y plus 1. If you don't put this in brackets, you are going to get a wrong answer. Because this negative is applying to the O of b, and you know what b is representing. And then in the denominator, we are going to have x minus, where there is b again, we are going to put square root of y plus 1. This is squared. Okay, now continue simplifying. This is going to be square root of x. Distribute the negative, that will be minus square root of y, and then minus 1. In the denominator, you are going to have x minus. Now, when you have got square root of y plus 1 squared, expand that. So you can say square root of y plus 1 multiplied by square root of y plus 1. You start crossing and multiplying. But friends, when you've been given a different, you've got something in brackets and it is raised to the power 2, you can do it a very easier way. Instead of you doing the cross multiplication, you don't have the whole day to yourself to be doing that. That is something that students get to complain about. Time is more. So make sure that you get to know that. So whenever you have got a minus b squared, or it can be a plus b squared. Okay, this one, get the first number which is here, the a, you square it. All right, whatsoever the first term, square it. So that is going to give you a squared. And then get the power 2, multiply with everything inside. So power 2 multiply by a, multiply by negative b. That will give you negative 2ab. and then get the last term, which is the negative b, you square it. Negative squared, that will be positive b squared. So this is how you expand something that is in bracket, you say squared. So same here, get the root y, you square it, that will just give you y. Okay, and then get the power 2, you multiply with root y, you multiply by 1, that is going to give you 2 root y. And then get the 1 which is at the end, you square it, plus 1. That is what you are going to have. Hope we are okay. Please, if you are not, be free to ask. Yes, Priska.
Sir, come again on this part, the last part which you can explain. I missed it.
Get the first term, you square it. Get the power, you multiply with everything inside, and then get the second term, you also square it. If you're not be familiar, please be free to use whatsoever method that you are free to use. But it is so direct. Get the first number, square it, get the power 2, multiply with what is inside, and then get the second term, you square it. That doesn't apply when the power was the 3. Take note. Okay? So I'm going to proceed and get to distribute this negative to the inside. Yes, Rejoice.
Sir, I have a question on the numerator.
Hmm.
How did you simplify when multiplying?
I've not simplified anything. I just substituted where there was b, I put the y, root y plus 1.
Or
Yes. Priska.
yes, and now if at all like the same one whereby I say that the first one you have to square root it. The what is the square root and the square they will cancel remain with y. Then the second one it will be two to the power root y. How about this one? Is it not supposed to be two?
1 squared. What is 1 squared?
Oh,
So now distribute this negative. So negative times y, that will be negative y, negative times 2 root y, and then negative times y, that will be negative 1. Now from this stage, make sure that you get all the constants, you put them together, and the root also put them also together. So this is going to give you root of x minus root of y minus 1, and then divided by. So I'm going to have x minus y minus 1. I'll put them together because those are constants, and then minus 2 square root of y, like that. Okay, and then from here, what am I going to do? I'm now going to rationalize again. Remember, the question is saying rationalize the denominator. I still have the root in the denominator. Now rationalize again. So the conjugate of the denominator is x minus y minus 1. Just change the sign, it becomes plus 2 square root of y. Also in the denominator, you are going to have the same x minus y minus 1, and then plus 2 square root of y. So when you multiply this by everything here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write in brackets, okay? So this is going to give us open brackets. I'm first going to write square root of x minus square root of y minus 1. Remember, the O of this is multiplying what is the other side. And the other side, we have got what? X minus y minus 1. Okay. And then plus 2 square root of y, like that. These are the terms that we are multiplying. Now, to just differentiate, I'm going to put this to mean that they are from two different terms. In other words, just put the whole of this in brackets and put the whole of this in brackets. That will show that you are multiplying. That's what I've just done. So it's not something that you get to worry about. How come you found this? Now make sure that this you still maintain the bracket because this is one term. And then in the denominator, remember when you are multiplying a number by its conjugate, get the first number, you square it. So the first one we have is x minus y minus 1, square that. And then minus the second one is 2 square root of y, you also square that. Okay, so the answer then will just be, can simplify that. Yes, best. Okay, so this is going to give us square root of x minus square root of y minus 1 multiplied by x minus y minus 1 plus 2 square root of y, and then in the denominator we are going to have, if you want to expand what is in the denominator, the x minus y minus 1, expand it. But I've already rationalized, so I can also write it like that. But the 2 square root of y, 2 squared is a 4, square root of y squared is a y. So this is rationalized. You cannot see any root in the denominator. So I've answered the question square, rationalize the denominator. I hope we are okay. I hope we are able to follow. Yes, bestie. Esther. Okay. Yes, Esther. Patrick, I've also seen your hand.
Sunny, I'm not clear. Let's try to do the second example.
All right, let's proceed to
I think
B.
let's try this one.
3 plus square root of
1
2.
over root 5 minus root.
Okay, I'll do that one. It's here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we also want to rationalize the denominator of this one. 3 plus square root of 2 divided by square root of 2 minus square root of 3. So who can tell me what is the conjugate of the denominator? Because when you're rationalizing, always multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. What is going to be the conjugate of the denominator here? Martha, Esther.
Root 2 plus root 3.
Okay, root 2 plus root 3. Also in the denominator, root 2 plus root 3. And then start crossing and multiplying. So start with the 3. 3 multiplies root 2, that is going to be 3 root 2. 3 multiplies root 3, that will be 3 root 3. And then root 2 multiplies root 2, that is going to be a 2, right? Because the 2's which are inside are going to multiply each other, they are going to have root 4. We know square root of 4 is a 2. And then root 2 times root 3, that is going to give us root 6. Just multiply the two numbers which are inside. And then in the denominator, get the first one, you square it, that will just give you a 2. Get the second one, you square it, that will just give you a 3. But always put a minus in between them. So therefore, the answer 2 minus 3, we know that is basically a negative 1, right? So all we are doing is negative 1 into 3 root 3, that will be negative 3 root 2, sorry, and then negative 3 root 3, and then negative 2, and then negative root 6. So this is the answer. Okay, as simple as that. Yes, Priska.
Yes, sir. On the denominators, aren't you expanding them?
That expansion is what I'm saying. Get the first term, you square it, minus, get the second term, you square it. That is the same thing. So if you want, if you have got some free time, you can go and try crossing and multiplying the denominators. Okay, let's consider this one. Work out the following. The first one, simplify the expression square root of 2 square root of 72 minus 3 over 2. Rejoice?
Sir, I think you are fast.
No, I'm not fast. Tell me you're
As in
understanding slowly.
on the on this question we're just from doing. I didn't see. I didn't. As in why you got the negative 3. I didn't. I wanted to ask. Now you went to another thing.
Root 2 squared minus root 3 squared. That is where they came from. So you add 2 minus 3. Okay? Okay, so root 2, root 72. Now you need to simplify this. You know 72, look for, now when you want to simplify these sides, start dividing 72 by the smallest number that can go into 72 without element, and that shouldn't be 1 because you know 1 can go into anything. Start from 2, alright? So it is going to be root 2, and you know that 2 into 72 is going to give you what? Is it a 36? So this is the same as 2 times the 36. Yes, Esther. Okay, you wanted to answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, minus 3 over 2. Now, how many times can 2 go into 32? Esther, 2 into 32? That is 16, very good. And then plus 5 is square root. And then you also have a 2 can go into 200. That is going to be 100. Yes, Abigail. Okay, okay. So you've seen that every time I get 2 and uh, divide into these numbers, I'm getting perfect squares. And that's the aim. You need to make sure that you get perfect squares. So the answer is going to be square root of 2 and then multiplied by square root of 36. We know that is a 6, right? And then you have got a square root of 2. Because I've got square root of 2 times 36, square root of 36 is a 6, but square root of 2, we can't find the exact answer. And then minus a 3 over 2. Inside we have got square root of 2 times 16. Square root of 16 is a 4, and then we're going to remain square root of 2, and then plus 5. We know square root of 100 is a 10, and then we're going to remain square root of 2 minus 7. Okay, so here we're going to have this square root of 2 multiplied with this square root of 2. That will just give us a 2. So we're going to have square root of 2 times square root of 2 is a 2. That 2 multiplies by this 6, that will give us a 12. Then minus 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 times 3, that is going to give us a 6. Then square root of 2. 5 times 10, it is going to be 50, and then square root of 2, then minus 7, right? Now add like terms. 12 minus 7, that is a 5. Negative 6 square root of 2 plus 50 square root of 2, that is going to give you a 44 square root of 2. Just add negative 6 plus 50. That's a 44. And then put a square root of 2 there. So we have expressed in the form a plus a b root c. Is this okay? Yes, Priska.
So I'm a bit behind. Starting from how you've cancelled these things
Which things?
on root 2 and the 6 root 2.
So you can also write this as 6 root 2 root 2. This will give you 6. Root 2 means root 4 because you just multiply the 2's inside. And this will be 6 times 2, which is 12. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can proceed to part B. Show that 1 divided by square root of 5 minus square root of 3 plus 1 is equal to square root of 5 plus square root of 3 plus 1 multiplied by square root of 7 minus square root of 15 divided by 64. You don't use calculators in mathematics here, so you need to make sure that you are a bit of quick in the way you get to operate with questions. Okay, so we have 1 divided by square root of 5 minus square root of 3 plus 1. We can quickly work out this question. Now, as we said earlier, you can't get to rationalize the three terms. So make sure that any two terms you get them, right? You get them. Now this is where it is going to be a bit tricky because Especially that there is a minus with a negative 3. I know a lot of people get it wrong even if they know the procedure. So let any letter, let be equal to, I'm going to get 5 and 1. I've gotten it strategically because I know if I get a negative 3, people, it will be trick with people. Okay, I'm going to get root 5 plus 1. So I've gotten root 5 plus 1. I can as well write this so that you just get to understand the way it is. I can as well write this as 1 divided by root 5 plus 1, then minus the square root of 3. So that where there is root 5 plus 1, I'm going to substitute a b. So I'm going to have 1 divided by b minus square root of 3. Are we okay so far? Are we moving together? Yes, Esther. I can't get what you guys are saying. Priska, your hand is up.
Sorry, sir, mistake.
Okay, Esther. Rejoice, your hand is also up.
Yes, sir. I have a question on the part for getting why you got root of 5 plus 1. What
Mm.
if, is it okay to get, and then to write root of 3 plus 1 as 1 minus root of 3?
Yes, that is okay. That is okay. Okay, so from here we can now rationalize. So the conjugate of b minus root 3, that is going to be b plus root 3. So we multiply on top and down. So on top, if you get to multiply, we are going to have b plus root 3. Down, when you multiply, now you're multiplying a number by its conjugate, just get the b, you square it. Okay, and then always put a minus, and then you get to the root 3, you square it, so that will just give you 3. Now here substitute where there is b. All right, so where there is b, put back the root 5 plus 1. So that is going to be root 5 plus 1, and then plus root 3 divided by, where there is b again, put root 5 plus 1, and then minus 3, like that. Now from here I'm going to simplify further. This is going to be root 5. Let me write plus root 3, and then I write a 1 at the end, divided by, we are going to have root 5. Now this is a negative 3, so it will be 1 minus 3, that will give us a negative 2. Okay, so from here I'll conjugate again. Yes, Richard.
Sir, if B this side is squared, then this side you are not squared.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you so much for that. It would have affected things a lot. I forgot to square here. Very good. So everything would have changed. So let's just get to square that. So root 5 plus 1 squared, we'll get the root 5, you square it, that is going to just give you a 5, right? And then you get the 2, you multiply by root 5, you multiply by 1, that is going to give you 2 root 5. And then you get 1, you square it, that will just give you 1, right? And then at the end you have got minus 3. If you are not good with this, but it is the simplest method you can use, just get the root 5 plus 1, write it twice, to start crossing and multiplying. So this will again give you square root of 5 plus square root of 3 plus 1 divided by, you can add like terms, 5 plus 1 is a 6, minus 3, that will give you a positive 3, and then plus 2 square root of 5. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so from here now conjugate again. So multiply by 3 minus 2 root 5 on top, even down by 3 minus 2 root 5. So I'm going to write this as square root of 5 plus square root of 3 plus 1, and then multiply by 3 minus 2 square root of 5. Okay, over, down, get the first number you square it, that is going to be 3 squared, and then always put a minus, get the second number you square it, that is going to be 2 square root of 5. And this is going to give us, we have got square root of 5 plus square root of 3 plus a 1 multiplied by 3 minus 2 square root of 5 divided by 3 squared is a 9, and then minus, we have got this 2 squared, that is going to give us a 4, and then the root of 5 squared, that will just be a 5. I hope we have followed this well, because if we missed anything, it will not show. Whether it's a negative sign you missed or anything, you're not going to be able to prove. Okay, so from here now we can proceed, and what we are going to have is square root of 5 plus square root of 3 plus 1, and this is multiplying with 3 minus 2 square root of 5. In the denominator, 4 times 5, that is of course a 20. 9 minus 20 is a negative 11, right? Okay, like that. Now we can see for this question what we've been asked. We want to show that in the denominator should have a 64, and look also on top, we are supposed to have square root of 5 square root of 3 plus 1. Of course that is true with this first part, but the second one is supposed to have 3 minus 2 square root of 15, but we have, we're supposed to have 7 minus square root of 15, but we have got a 3 minus 2 square root of 5. Now, since we've seen that what we want to prove, we don't have any number in front. What another thing that we can tell from this is this 2 which is in front here. How did we find the 2? Actually, for you to find the 2 there, you can as well get to, in other words, it came from square root of 4. That's the meaning. So when you have got 2 square root of 5, this is the same as square root of 4 times square root of 5. I don't know if you get that. Okay. Meaning that you can as well multiply the 4 and the 5 which is inside, then you are going to have square root of 20. That is the same thing. I don't know if that is okay.
It's okay. Now, is it a must for you to do that? Or maybe you can just multiply it direct the way it's been given.
To multiply direct with what? So look at the thing you want to show. So you can't multiply direct for anything whatsoever. Looking at what you want to show. Esther, since you have got this question, is it the same thing that has been given that you show? Is it the right one on this other side? Esther,
Repeat the question.
is is the question you have saying that show that it is equal to this part, or it's something else? I might have written something different.
Yeah, the question is just like that. So root 5 plus root 3 plus 1. Oh, yeah, it's just like you are correct.
Okay, thank you. So from here, I don't know how to get to 64 in the denominator and how to end up with a 15 that side. So I don't know what miracle has to happen here for you to get there. So whatsoever has to be done, you should figure it out at your time. I hope it is okay. So whatsoever has to be done for you to end up with a 64 here, please figure it out. For you to end up with a 7 minus root 15 also there, you can as well figure that out. But from here, no, it's if you leave it like this, you've not shown. So they will give you some marks, but they will not mark you. It actually shows steps that you are taking, and each step, according to the marking key, shows some answers. So we can just proceed. Maybe let's just proceed with multiplying. We see where it is going to go, but it's going to take a bit of time. So root 5, you multiply with the 3 there. That is going to give you 3 square root of 5. And then the root 5 you multiply by the negative 2 root 5. That is going to give you negative 2 multiplied by 5, because you have got a root of 5. If they multiply, the root is going to go. And then you go to the root 3 multiplied by 3. That is going to give you 3 root of 3. And then you go root 3 multiplied by negative 2 root of 5. That will give you negative 2 root of 15. You just multiply the 3 inside and the 5. And then go to 1. 1 multiplied by 3, that is going to be 3. 1 multiplied by 2 root 5, that will be negative 2 root 5. In the denominator, you still have a negative 11. Okay. So taking note of where you want to go and reach. Now here we have got some like terms. I think these are like terms. Okay, you have got a 3 root 5, you have got also a 3 root 5. So you can work out that. What are you going to get? Mathematicians, 3 root 5 minus 2 root 5. Let's see.
Repeat the question,
3
please.
root 5 minus 2 root 5. These like terms, this one and this one. What are you going to get? Just root 5, because it will be 3 minus 1. Very good. And then the next thing that I can write is, let me just write, that is a 3 root 3. And then I can write a minus 2 times 5, that is going to give us a 10. Okay, from here. And then we have got a negative 2 root 15. And then still divided by negative 11 down there. If I wanted, I would distribute this negative with everything that is on top there, so that they are going to change the signs. But from here, do we have anything that we can factorize out? So since we want to have root 5, root 3, and 1 together, these first 3, if I wanted to factorize out the first 3, just I want to put them together. Of course, we will not be able to do that just factorizing them out like that and then also factorizing the other side. So I'm not saying a way in which it's going to give us is the first in the denominator whatsoever we're going to do here. I'm not seeing any way that we can get a 64. So whatsoever is wrong, whether it is us or it is an error in the question, I don't know. But that is a procedure that you take wherever you are going to end. Or it has to do with the steps earlier done. So you can check that out. I just hope that you have followed this stepwise.
Can I just finish it?
I'm going to send the questions, the whole paper will forward it. Okay, express in the form p plus q square root of 2 where p and q are integers. First one, square root of 25 plus square root of 50 minus square root of 98 divided by 1 plus square root of 2. Who can help us? What should be the first thing that we should be able to do? What should be the first thing? Yes? Yes, please go on.
Simplify the roots and put.
Okay, root 25, we know that is already a 5. We know 50 is the same as 25 times 2, meaning that root 50 is the same as square root of 25 is a 5, and then we're going to remain with a root 2. And then 98 is the same as 2 times 49. Okay, 2 times 49. The square root of 49 is a 7, so that will be 7 square root of 2. Then divided by 1 plus square root of 2. And this gives you add like terms, that will be 5 plus 11 square root of 2 divided by 1 plus square root of 2. Is that even 11 or 12? 7 plus 5. That's supposed to be a 12. And then from here you can go on and rationalize the denominator. 1 minus root 2, also down by 1 minus root 2. Yes, Richard?
Sir, so was it going to change, or is it going to be a difference if started by doing the rationalization before
It wouldn't
doing
have
the top?
been different. It would just have been complex to work out easily. So we can proceed. 5 multiplied by these terms which are here, 5 times 1, that is a 5, minus 5 times root 2, that is going to be 5 root 2, and then 12 root 2 times 1, that is going to be 12 root 2, and then 12 root 2 times negative root 2, that is going to be negative 12 multiplied by 2. The reason is this root 2 and this root 2, they are just going to give us a 2, and then the 12 is going to remain. In the denominator, get the first number, you square it, that will be 1 squared. Always get a minus, root 2, also square it. So add like terms on top. This is 5, this is a negative 24. 5 minus 24, that will give you, is it a negative 19? Then negative 5 root 2 plus 12 root 2, that is just basically 12 minus 5, which is what? Is it a 7? So 7 root 2. And then down you have got 1 minus 2, which is a negative 1. Therefore, the final answer is going to be positive 19 minus 7 root 2. Oh, sorry that you it has taken a bit of time. Okay. Do we have questions on this? Any question?
We can proceed to
Okay. So from here, I'm only going to pick B. The others we can work them out. Rationalize the denominator of the expression, leaving the answer in the form a plus b root c. I'm going to pick square root of 3, square root of 2. Just give me a bit of a moment. It seems the network is tripping. Just a moment. Can you now see the questions? Can you see the questions on the board? Can you now see? Okay. I'm only working out part B for this question. The others we are going to try them out. Square root of 2 to the power 3 plus 1 divided by 1 minus square root of 2 to the power 2. Friends, square root of 2 to the power 3 means the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Now, who can tell me what is square root of 2 times square root of 2?
It's 2.
It's 2. So meaning that we are going to have 2 square root of 2. Okay, root 2 to the power 3 is the same as 2 square root of 2 and then plus a 1. In the denominator, get the first number, you square it, that will give you 1. Get the power 2, multiply by the 1, multiply by the negative square root of 2, that will be negative 2 square root of 2. Then get the square root of 2, square it, that will give you positive 2. So this is the same as 2 square root of 2 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 2, that is a 3, minus 2 square root of 2. Now multiply here. Okay, multiply on top, that will be 3 plus 2 square root of 2. Multiply down also, that is 3 plus 2 square root of 2. People were really complaining about this question. Was it too complex? What was hard? Do you have questions on here? I don't know why people were complaining a lot. So start multiplying 2 root 2 times 3, that is going to give us 6 root 2. And then 2 root 2 times the 2 root 2, the 2's in front, when they multiply, that will give us 4. The root 2 and the root 2, that will just give you a 2. Then 1 times 3, that is a 3. 1 times 2 root 2, that is going to be 2 root 2. The denominator, get the first number, you square it, that is going to be a 9. Get the second number, you square it. 2 squared is a 4, and then root 2 squared is going to just be a 2. So you have got 3 plus 8, that is going to be 11. 6 root 2 plus 2 root 2, that is going to be 8 root 2. Down you have got 9 minus 8, which is a 1. So this is going to be the answer. Are we together? Is it clear? Do you have questions? Is this okay?
Yes.
That's why people are not pretending. Otherwise, tachakamanike buino. They just repeat questions. And by the way, me I believe Surds. This is the first. It's the simplest topic in mathematics. So okay, let's work out this. Rationalize the denominator of the expression. The first one we have is 1 divided by 2 plus the square root of 3 plus 2 divided by 2 minus square root of 3. What do you think? What are we going to do for this question? Yes, Richard.
I think we can work them separately. We rationalize the first part
Mhm.
and also the other one, then we add them.
Very good. You can work with them separately. Rationalize the denominator of the first one, rationalize the denominator of the second one, and then add them. For this one, actually, work is made much easier because you can see the denominators in the two fractions are conjugates of each other. I can actually go direct for this question. Okay. Yes, Richard, your hand is still up. Martha,
What of if you try to make it a single fraction first?
yes, that is also correct. Esther, you also have a question or a concern? Or...
I wanted to.
All right. So we can actually make this as a single fraction. So get what is on top of the first
Yeah,
fraction.
single fraction.
Okay. Get 1 which is on top of the first fraction. Multiply with what is down the second fraction. That is going to give you 2 minus square root of 3, right? Get the 2 which is on top of the second fraction. Multiply with what is down the first fraction. So that 2 times 2, that will be 4. 2 times root 3, that is going to be 2 root 3. And then divide, multiply the two denominators. Now, since you can see the two denominators are conjugates of each other, get the first one you square, that will give you 4. Minus, get the second one you square, that will just give you a 3. Root 3 squared is a 3. And this will give you add like terms. 2 plus 4 is a 6. Negative root 3 plus 2 root 3. What is going to be the answer? Esther, negative root 3 plus 2 root 3. What is going to be the answer? Abigail, Priska, yes?
It's going to be 6.
Okay, very good. It's going to be root 3, right? So that is it. Negative root x plus 2 root, negative root 3 plus 2 root 3 is the same as negative 1 plus 2. Just get the numbers in front of the root. Okay, negative 1 plus 2 is a 1, and then root 3. Now down you have got 4 minus 3, which is just a 1. So this is going to be the answer also for this one. If you're not okay, friends, be free to ask. I'm just seeing the same people asking. I hope the others who are not talking, they're understanding. Trust me, this is coming very soon in the quiz and in the test. Okay. 1 divided by square root of a minus square root of b. What's the conjugate of the denominator here? What's the conjugate of the denominator? Please rejoice. Yes, rejoice, you can go on.
It will be square root of a plus square root of b.
Very good. Square root of a plus square root of b divided by square root of a plus square root of b. So multiply 1 times square root of a square root of b, that will just be square root of a plus square root of b, and then square root of a square root of b multiplied by the conjugate to just be a minus b, because square root squared is a, square root of b squared is b. Now put a minus in front, between them. So this is the answer. You've rationalized the denominator. Okay, and the very last question in this tutorial here. Evaluate negative 1 plus square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 1 minus square root of 125. So negative 1 plus square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 1 minus. Now 125. If you take 5 into 125, you're going to get a 25. So 125 is the same as square root of 25 times 5. You know square root of 5 is a 5. Square root of 25 is a 5 and then root 5. So firstly, rationalize the denominator of this part. Okay, so this is going to be 1 plus 5 square root of 5. Also down, 1 plus 5 square root of 5. So this is going to give negative 1 plus square root of 5 plus 1 multiplied by everything that will just be 1 plus 5 root 5. In the denominator, get the first one, you square 1 squared is 1, then minus 5 squared is a 25, 5 times root 5 squared is a 5. And then we're going to have negative 1 plus square root of 5 plus, we're going to have 1 plus 5 root 5 divided by 25 times 5 is 125. So 1 minus 125 is a negative 124. Yes, Esther. So I'm going to distribute the negative 124 to the 1. So we're going to have negative 1 over 124. The negative 124, so to the 5 root 5, we're going to have negative 5 over 124 root 5. Now add like terms. Negative 1 minus 1 over 124. You don't need the calculator to add that. You know that when you have got numbers, both have got a negative sign and you are working out an operation, it is as good as adding, and then at the end you get a negative to attach on that number. So negative 1 minus 1 over 124 is the same as 1 plus 1 over 124. Now the easiest way for you to work out fractions, okay, I can just say this is the same as over 1. Multiply what is on top of the first fraction with what is down the second fraction. So that is 1 times 124, that will be 124. Multiply what is on top of the second fraction, what is down the first, that is going to be just 1. And then multiply the two denominators, that is going to be 124. 124 plus 1, that is 125. So that will be 125 over 124. But remember they were both negative, so attach a negative in front. Same with the root 5 minus 5 over 124 root 5. So just get the numbers in front. Root 5 there is a 1 in front. The other root 5 there is a negative 5 over 124. So multiply 1 times 124 is 124. 1 times negative 5 is a negative 5. Multiply the two denominators, that will be 124. 124 minus 5, that will be 119 over 124. So the answer is going to be plus 119 over 124 square root of 5. So this is it. And that is going to mark the end of this tutorial.